No woman should die of cervical cancer. That's straight from the World Health Organization, who has prioritized eliminating cervical cancer entirely by 2030. And this month is Cervical Health Awareness Month. Health experts say almost all cases, about 99%, are linked to HPV. To help us take charge of our health, Dr. Teresa Bird, Dean of UT Tyler's School of Health Professions, is here with us. This year's theme is We Can Prevent Cervical Cancer. So how can we all work together, Dr. Bird, to make that happen?
Well, in the past, we really just recommended pap testing regularly because if we can catch it early or just the cervical changes before they become cancer, we can prevent cancer. But now that we have the HPV vaccine, we're adding, get vaccinated against HPV. It's a very effective vaccine, and it prevents not only cervical cancer, but other types of cancer that are caused by HPV. So having those vaccinations is really, really important.
Let's talk a little bit about HPV. What is that for people who may not understand exactly how this cancer works and where it comes from?
Okay. It's human papillomavirus, and there are over 100 different strains of human papillomavirus that cause warts. Little kids often have warts on their hands. Those are caused by human papillomavirus, but different strains. So there are two particular strains that cause most of the cervical cancer in the United States, and then about 7 other strains that are also very dangerous when it comes to cancer. So the vaccine actually covers all nine of those types of HPV.
And you mentioned early detection a little bit ago. What is the real importance of early detection here and the different screening recommendations that are out there?
Okay. Well, the screening recommendations have changed a lot since the time I started doing this. Excuse me. Since the time I started working in this area. But the importance of early detection is just like with colon cancer, in cervical cancer, we can actually prevent cancers through screening because if you get screened regularly, then we can find the changes in the cervix and just take care of those before they become cancer. So screening has been what has decreased the amount of cancers a lot in the United States. And then now with the vaccine, we can really work even harder to decrease those numbers.
Let's talk about the vaccine now. Who should be getting this HPV vaccine? It's not just women who are young girls who are getting it, right?
No, right. It's boys and girls. And so the recommendation for boys and girls from age 9 to 12 is to have that series of vaccines. It's 2 vaccines. I'm going to throw in my phone here. 2 vaccines. For women and men who are older, they also can be vaccinated, actually up to age 45, depending on their discussions with their physician. But all the way up to 26, people are eligible for just getting the vaccine because it's really important.
We're talking about cervical health, but this really, can other people get cervical cancer, not just women? Can this be given to other people?
No, cervical cancer is cancer of the cervix, which is part of the bottom part of the uterus. So only women get cervical cancer. However, HPV also causes rectal and colon, short entry to the colon cancers, cancers of the penis, and head and neck cancers. So when we use the vaccine, we're preventing not only cervical cancer, but other types of HPV caused cancers.
So who is most vulnerable to cervical cancers?
Well, really, any woman is vulnerable, but certain things make you more vulnerable. First of all, infection with HPV, which about 85% of people are infected with HPV at any point in their lives. However, most times our bodies act to just kind of get rid of it. And so that's why the vaccine is important, because it just makes that happen more regularly and faster. But so the risk factors really are early sexual intercourse, intercourse with multiple partners, or having your partner have multiple partners, And then smoking, bless its heart, it's for everything, right? Smoking, if you have HPV infection and you're a smoker, it's more likely to become cancer than if you're not a smoker.
So what are the vaccination rates like here in the U.S.?
Pretty abysmal, actually. Across the United States, it's about 58%. But in Texas, and I just read a new paper that came out this last year, in Texas, we're hovering around 17% vaccine rate. So that's really, that's not going to help us eradicate cancer if we don't up that.
That's got to be concerning for doctors and health providers, especially when you're trying to put the word out there that this is so preventable, but also if you get it, it can be so deadly.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's really disconcerting, and we encourage people. We understand why people are nervous, especially when we're asking them to vaccinate kids. But the reasoning is the vaccine works best if it's given before sexual activity begins. So, we want to catch these kids before sexual activity, which in this country usually happens at around, it's hard to believe, but around 16 or 17 years of age.
Oh, wow.
So, we want the kids to be vaccinated so the vaccine becomes effective. And then if they start sexual activity, then they're protected.
Have they seen results in the studies that show that it really is an effective vaccine?
Yes. It's taken a while because we give it to kids and we have to wait for sexual activity, et cetera. But it's actually very effective, probably 99 to 100% at preventing HPV-related cancer.
So what would you tell parents who are in that doctor's office and they have that first time, hey, your child is eligible this year for the HPV vaccine, do you want to get it? What would you tell parents at this point?
I would tell them that I understand that, we all think that our kids are never going to be sexually active, but they are. And it's really a good thing to get this taken care of and prevent these kinds of cancers that are caused by HPV. And so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, you've got enough to worry about when they get to be 16, 17 years old, but you don't have to worry about these HPV-related cancers if you've had them vaccinated. And the vaccine has been shown to be very safe and very effective.
Safe and effective. I think that's probably what parents want to hear. Now, what about those young women who didn't get vaccinated? Their parents didn't think it was right for them, but now their health is in their own hands. You're saying it's still okay to do that up until 45?
Yes. Yeah, and it's highly recommended for women who haven't been vaccinated and men up to age 26, and then after 26 up to 45, in discussions with your physician about your own personal risk.
So if you're getting the vaccine, are there any side effects that we've seen so far that after you get vaccinated that you may need to look out for, or it's just been pretty effective?
It's pretty much like most other vaccines. You might have arm soreness, some redness, tenderness. I haven't read about any serious outcomes from it. If you have an allergy or something, you could probably have something. But I believe they will keep you in the office and make sure you're good for 15 minutes or so to rule out allergy. But aside from that, I don't think this vaccine has big side effects like some of the others, that we know. This one is not a live virus or even a killed virus. This is not really a virus. It's a fake copy of it's a, I can't remember what it's called, but it's not a real virus. It's a lab made to make your body think it's the virus, but it's not really a virus. So there's no way to get sick from what is being injected. It's just stimulates your immune system.
Any other things that women can do for Cervical Health Month to protect themselves? Just make sure that they're in the best health possible, especially when it comes to their cervical health, which can also impact your fertility and so many other things. I think it's important to talk about that as well.
Well, I think one thing they can do is get screened regularly. And like I said, the screens have changed over the past several years. So we want women 21 to 29 to be screened every 3 years. with a pap test. And as long as those are negative, if they have a positive screen, then they might do it more often. But, and then from 29 to 65, it can be every 3 years of a pap smear or every 5 years with just an HPV test, which is pretty easy. In fact, there's a self-test now that's just it's being tested. It's been approved. It hasn't hit the market yet. And then, or they can get co-testing, so both a pap smear and an HPV test every 5 years. And then after 65, most women can stop having testing, but it's up to them and their doctor to talk about it. If they've ever had some problems in the past, they might continue testing.
Can, if you get HPV or something like that, can that affect your fertility later in life?
Well, HPV itself, no, but the cervical cancer certainly can. And in fact, if cervical cancer is untreated long enough, then it often leads to hysterectomy. So, yeah, you want to make sure that you have good health in all your organs.
Yeah, I think sometimes, as a lot of women, they get busy with taking care of their families, going to school, working, doing all the things, and they forget to put that on the calendar. But really, you should be going to your OBGYN once a year.
Yeah, once a year for a pelvic exam, but again, the pap test is, we've changed it now to every 3 years, which is
Right.
kind of nice for women because a lot of women they don't really like having that test. It's a little bit invasive, but again, once the self-test for HPV is very simple to do, and it's been approved, and they're testing it now in clinics where women actually do the self-test in the clinic, and just to make sure that it works well and that women are comfortable with it. But it's kind of exciting because if we can just have women test themselves at home and send it in, and if they're negative for HPV, then we don't need to do anything else. If they're positive, then we'll bring them in for screening.
Save them a little time as well. I'm sure they would appreciate that too, and not having to have those invasive procedures that a lot of women just, don't like to have.
Yeah.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the self-test. I was actually part of some of the early studies on self-testing. So I just read a couple of months ago that the FDA had approved it and that it's being tested in clinics. And I thought, yay.
Absolutely. A big yay on that one. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Bird, for spending time with us and helping us be a little more educated about our cervical health, especially for January, when it is Cervical Health Awareness Month.